Hey there, welcome in. My name's Josh, and today we're talking about why you should post to social media. I think social media is kind of a love-hate relationship for a lot of artists these days. Because on the one hand, it's great for exposure and getting your name out there and brand building and sharing your art with the world. But on the other hand, it's really easy to get depressed and discouraged because you're comparing your art with literally everybody else in the entire world. But have you ever stopped to think about why you post to social media in the first place? Like, what's your motivation for posting at all? I think the motivation for posting to social media should be for enjoying art and helping others. You should post for the purpose of inviting others to enjoy something awesome with you. To enjoy a piece of art with you, to enjoy that character or landscape or vehicle or whatever just for its own sake because it's cool. If you post for this reason, the piece ends up getting most of the praise and not the artist. A quote from C.S. Lewis sums it up this way: "I think we delight to praise what we enjoy because the praise not merely expresses but completes the enjoyment. It is its appointed consummation. It is not out of compliment that lovers keep on telling one another how beautiful they are. The delight is incomplete till it's expressed. It is frustrating to have discovered a new author and not be able to tell anyone how good he is, to come suddenly at the turn of the road upon some mountain valley of unexpected grandeur, and then have to keep silent because the people with you care for it no more than for a tin can in the ditch. It's normal for you to want to praise the things you love and want to share it with the world, and this is true for art too. Wanting to share something that you made that you think is awesome, that you delight in, isn't pride, it's joy, and don't let anyone tell you differently. And you'll know it's joy and not pride if you're content with most of the compliments going to the piece itself and not to you personally. But more than that, you need to post to social media to encourage others. So we discovered posting for beauty's sake, but posting for the sake of others is equally important. You have to remember that you're literally the worst person in the world to judge if your art sucks or not. You're the worst. You're super biased. You're always going to find something to nitpick. You're always going to find something to improve. We are always our harshest critics. Always, 100% of the time. Oftentimes, artists don't publish their work because they're embarrassed or it's not the level that they want it to be or they don't think it's polished. But what they don't realize is that in a few years and a few months from now, even those polished pieces are still going to be embarrassing to them and they're going to end up deleting them anyway. But the worst part about it is that by only posting your polished pieces, you're just reinforcing the stigma that it's not okay to suck at art. But of course it's okay to suck at art. Most of us do suck at art. We're still learning, but like nobody wants to acknowledge that. Everybody has to pretend to be a god all the time. And if you use a reference, you have to say that you did or they'll look less on you. And it's like you always have to prove that somehow you're amazing because you're not allowed to suck. And it's really suffocating. So many of us are incapable of separating our self-worth from our artistic performance, and it's killing us. It can't stop it. Even if you think your stuff is hot garbage, you never want to see it again, and you want to burn it, and you're super embarrassed, somebody else could look at that and be totally envious of your skill. But what's more is that by posting the stuff that's not top tier, that's not god tier, that's not, gonna get you an industry job immediately, like, you're teaching them how to be content with where they're at, just how you're learning how to be content with where you're at on your artistic journey and getting rid of this pressure and the stigma that you always have to be good all the time and you have to be amazing. Unless you're amazing, don't even bother posting, because that's kind of the stigma that I feel personally. Maybe I'm out to lunch, maybe that's crazy, but I definitely feel that pressure a lot. And I'm not talking about people who post mid-level art or low-level art, but they just think they're amazing when really they're not, and they haven't done enough cycles to know where exactly they're at. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about knowing that you're not the best and posting that and being okay with that and helping to facilitate that culture and share that with other people. Even if it's embarrassing to me now to post low-level art that I'll look back in a year from now or 2 years from now, it's worth it for me to post that so that there can be this trail of breadcrumbs so that somebody can look at the art that I'm posting now and see, if he can do it, then I can do it. And then imagine if we all did that. Imagine if we all if we were able to swallow our pride and post things that were a little embarrassing just for the purpose of encouraging and emboldening somebody else 2 years from now, 3 years from now, so that they can look at where you will be 3 years from now and feel like that they could do it if you sucked as bad as you do today. I don't know what's greater than that. And that's it for this Thoughtful Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. If that culture is something that you like, that kind of resonates with you, be sure to check out my Discord community or my Patreon. It's filled with a bunch of guys who feel the same way that I do, and we all learn and grow and encourage each other that way. And I can't recommend it enough. I know I'm super biased, but I think it's pretty much the coolest thing ever. So if that sounds interesting, more about me, check out my Patreon. And then for a behind the scenes look about me and making the videos and everything else, check out my Instagram. I'm on there all the time. And as always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, comment a second time. And I cannot wait to see all of you next week.